All right, so let's talk about this power Dremel carving, Spirit of the Flower. I myself, I'm kind of done with this piece. I don't really want to do too much more on it, but I want to explain something for you very beginning Dremel carvers, power carvers. The more details that you put on a piece like this, or any carving, the better it's going to look, okay? So it all comes, I think a piece like this all comes down to a wood burner. This is a very expensive wood burner. I got it for a cheap price. You do not need an expensive wood burner. Just Carve Rob loves the cheap one that he's got from China. I'm going to get a link to his wood burner in my Amazon store because I get asked a tons of times, what kind of wood burner do you suggest? I suggest if you're a very beginner, buy a cheap wood burner on Amazon. One that you can make your own tips, okay? This is my own made tip. Ben Just Carve Rob makes his own tips. Ben Studio on the Lake makes his own tips. So one that, see how you can undo these screws and put your own wire in there. I will get the name of the wire from Just Carve Rob so you can order some wire too if you want. Okay? So once again, the wood burner will be in my Amazon store for you guys to see it, and I'll just I'll put in the title for it. Will be in the description below. You have to hit an arrow, a whole bunch of stuff will come up, and I'll put in the store front thing, Just Carve Rob wood burner. Okay, it's a cheap one, but Just Carve Rob says it's good for the price. So all here, you could wood burn underneath these pedals. You could wood burn details on these pedals, and on and on and on and on. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wood burn some details on these flowers to separate the petals. I'm going to wood burn some things in the eyes just to give some details. Then I'm going to use watered down paint. I'm going to make these leaves green. I guess I'll make the flowers purple or something. This is more of a girl's piece. And preferably, I like this piece just kind of doesn't look like it flows good to me. I'd cut this whole bottom piece off, but I just don't care enough about it. Right? So just carry on and have fun. Okay, to do this wood burning, you're best to do it in a well-ventilated area. I'm not in a well-ventilated area, but I got the window wide open. It's freezing cold in here. So all I'm going to do is just give it some highlights in the eyes. Maybe a highlight down here. This is the sleeping spirit. Like I said, the more wood burning you do on these pieces, the better it's going to look. Okay, so see there, just quickly done on the eyes and the flower. So now I'll do a wood burning. Let's see if we're still on film here. Yep, wood burning. I'll do the petals. Okay, so we'll wood burn around the circle here. See how it separates the petals? It's basically just texture. Okay. And we'll put a bunch of little dots on here. I don't know, just sometimes like you guys, you kind of get done with a piece. While I'm done with this, I just really, well, done with it. Okay, I could put some burning in the center lines here. Evo Rick suggested that I do a little veins on the petals, but thanks for the suggestion, Evo Rick, but I'm kind of done with this, so you just got to carry on. Okay, so that flower is done. You can do shading. You can buy pens that are shaders on this. They're like flat metal things. Good enough. Okay, so I'll get this other flower done, and then we'll talk about the watered down color paint, acrylic. Okay, so I got some hot water here in these little cups. I got this cheap dollar store paint. I got blue and green. So the flowers are going to be blue. Just put a little bit in there. And the petals are going to be green. And everything's going to be basically green on this piece. Okay, so see, I poured it in there. Now I'm going to mix it up really good. See how diluted it is? I just want this to have a tint of color. I really don't care about this piece, like I said. Sorry, I know I hate repeating myself. Okay, so I'm going to keep mixing this up really good. And then this is what happens when you really don't care a piece. You just want to hurry up and kind of finish it. The colors do seem a little bit bright in this video, but we'll see. Because I got to do this and I got to let it dry. We'll see how bright it looks. If it looks bright, there's other things I can do. Carry on, carry on. Okay, we'll see if we can get these flowers a bit blue. This cottonwood bark is not very good for, it doesn't retain, because it's not wood, it's bark, right? It doesn't retain color very well. See how there's not much color in there? See that? Just because I don't like this piece doesn't mean somebody won't like it. I'll tell you guys a funny story. You know that I just recently did, maybe a couple weeks ago, a carving of an eagle, and I wanted to blend it all together, but it turned out to be more like a hawk. Well, a couple ladies for Christmas asked if I had any smaller carvings for sale. I sent them the picture with like 6 wood spirits and that eagle carve, that hawk carving, and they both wanted the freaking hawk one. So, like I said, it goes to show you that could be a different color here. Goes to show you, just because you don't like your piece doesn't mean somebody else won't like it. Trust me on that. Please trust me. Okay, so that flower's done. See? Just a little silhouette of color, not much. I don't know. Do I know? I pretend I do, but I really don't. Okay, so now let's get this green on the flowers and the green man. Flower man. Okay. Oh boy, this is going to take a long time. This brush. So, how about I get this all done, and I'll be back. Oh, I got to paint this other flower blue too. Okay, so here you can see I watered down some red color and made the flowers red. The blue wasn't popping out very good enough. This is still really wet, and I darkened the green for down here because, well, this is farther back, so it should be a bit darker. So that's what we got so far. So I got this heat gun because this is, you're putting soaking wet wood on this carving, right? So because what I want to do next is I want to got this what's this, honey pine color poly shade. I want to poly shade this. So this is the brightest color I could find, like the least dark, honey pine. So you got to make sure there's no water in this wood when you put this on. Okay, so I got this heat gun, and I'll just sit here, listen to some music, and make sure it's all dry. Carry on. Okay, so basically it's all dry. I burnt it. I noticed when I was using this what's this heat gun here? I don't know what kind it is. It's a Wagner heat gun. So if you get one that gets hot enough, you can burn some more textures in there too. So I burnt it, the tips. It just gives more textures. I burnt inside the flowers and all around it. Okay. So you see how that green, it's not so bright anymore, and it's just a little tint of the green. See the tint? Okay. So I don't even really need to poly shade this. What I could do is just get some sandpaper and hit the tips a bit, just to give different textures to make the tips brighter. But I want to try this poly shade out, this honey fucking thing. Anyway, so let's start putting this on, and I'm gonna let this poly shade dry. Well, let's see. Let's just put it on. Okay, so you guys want to see something super disappointing? Honey pine gloss. I don't know how that looks like honey pine. Looks pretty black to me. Looks pretty black to me. I don't know. Maybe it goes on clear. Well, it's not black. That's for sure. Maybe that's just the way it works. I guess so. Because I've never used this color before, so. Interesting. Let's put it on. Okay. So, Honey pine it is. Yeah, it's not going on black. See, I don't know everything. This might be my new favorite color. We'll see how it turns out. But see how much darker it's making it go? And yes, I am the waster. I am the waster. And I don't care. I don't have time to try and be prim and proper. Anything I do, I kind of like this color. It's just kind of like a natural dark. So what I do is I'll put this on the whole piece. I'll wipe it off, the excess, and then I think I'll wait to let this dry properly and hit it with the flap sander. I don't know. Let's just see how this looks. Maybe I don't need to. I carved the bottoms on these pieces too, so you got to remember to get your bottoms. Move your piece around when you're doing this too, so you can see that you got all the areas. Because there's nothing more that sucks. There's nothing that sucks anymore is getting done a piece and thinking it's done, then looking in a different direction at the piece and noticing that you've missed like 30 spots. Trust me. Carry on. Carry on. Okay, so it is now the next day. It's all dry. Okay, so I'm also working on my second. I just finished putting a stain on it. Second Spirit of the Skull. So now what I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to put my camera in the overhead. I got some sandpaper. I'm going to try and scuff up these tips, see how that works. But I'll probably actually just use this peterblair sanding mandrel, okay, with emery cloth. So let's get that done. Okay, so here you can see, using the peterblair sanding mandrel, this is carving fusion style. You guys will come up with your own style. I don't like things to look new. I like the wood carvings to look old and weathered and, well, you know, what do they say? Antiqued. So I'd say that's pretty well antiqued. Okay. A lot of carving for those petals, and you can see just the tint of green in there. So this that poly shade was shiny, so there's some spots. Let's see if you can see on the camera. See there, the little bit of a shiny stuff. So I don't like that. Like some's shiny and some's not. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this side outside and use this Rust Oldham. This is matte clear, and I'm going to spray it with this, and it will darken it up too. It won't make these pieces so bright like where I sanded it, and it will give it some protection. Okay, so I'll do this outside. I won't film, and then we'll come back and say goodbye. Okay, everybody, here it is done. I didn't spend much time on this project. I just kind of wanted to get it done. So you see how much darker it went, right? But you can still see like a tint of green color in there. It's hard to show you guys the full visual. Let's see. You don't have to worry about that wood spirit up top. It's not that great anyways. So, you guys got any suggestions what I should Dremel carve? What you'd like to see? Maybe a step-by-step green man, or I'm not too sure. There's your side view, just carve her up. Well, there it is, right there. So anyways, hope you're all good. You guys can carve this. Just, you got to dig in and get her done. Carving Fusion. Over and out. Okay, so here it is done. You can see how using the sound, for the love of. Okay, so here's Spirit of the Flowers done. This is Carving Fusion style. Okay, so everything looks like it's antiqued and old and weathered. You get high points, you get low points. What's going on with this friggin' fuck? Okay, so here it is done. So this is Carving Fusion style. You got high points, you got old points. Fuck, man. Fuck. Okay, here it is done so you can see it. I'm out of there, sip of coffee.